All right. So these are Mr. Mishki. Are you
Yeah,
present?
yeah.
Where are you?
Hello,
Oh, okay,
over here.
great. Okay, great to see you. Okay, I'm going to open this I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to open it in Bridge.
I have to say that this is all digital. I'm just
That's
I
all
just
right.
got I just got a Zeiss Econ from 1930, and for me it's all the other way around. That I started digital and now I'm trying out film to see how that works.
Well, that's wonderful. So, okay, you've got a number of images here. So what would you like to talk about? Anything, and one of them in particular?
No, not really. This was only I didn't really know whether it all has to be connected to any kind of questions. It's just that I'm the first time here and kind of
Okay.
an idea of what I'm doing.
Okay, well this is great, and you're in Germany.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, it's got you got some really nice looking things, some higher key things, and let's see what we have here. Oh,
Yeah, this is the Netherlands, and it's kind of sometimes when there's nothing in the sky really of interest. I have a couple I did like this, and then it's not about texture or anything in the sky. It's more these couple of elements like the
okay,
bird and the
all
boy.
right. Well, I think that was very had some very exciting things. Catching the birds like this with the boys out there, and uh,
And I think this is something I had to walk out in the water with a camera. And I
haha,
was so afraid that I'm gonna, like let's kind of slippery rocks or something, and I will lose the camera, but it worked out.
excellent, excellent. Uh, I'll take a quick look at some of these here. This is
Yeah, this is again the Netherlands, and I call this one Lost Post.
okay.
It's just about these. I could photograph Meram glass all day long to
Okay.
see it back there, and then of course the structure in the sand that was quite interesting.
Right. My feeling with that is that it could use maybe a little bit more contrast. Are you scanning prints or how are you presenting
No,
this?
no, this is what I'm trying with the film is I'm going as far as to scan the negatives and then move on to Photoshop because at this point I don't want to try the whole chemistry thing. I don't know, it's
Well,
just time.
you're not alone. I have a dear friend in Switzerland who loves film, but there's no way in the world she can have a dark room. So she likes to work with film
Yeah, that's the other. I
and
wouldn't even
working
have the
digital.
space for it.
And the advantage there is once again you can do things digitally you can't do
Yeah,
in the dark room. And also it's like painting plein air. If there's a fence post in the photograph you don't want to include, you don't have to include it. You can get rid
yeah.
of it. Uh, so that's really kind of nice. Take a look at this one. Oh,
That's kind of
that's a very sweet image. I like that.
yeah.
Uh,
It was kind of sad though. This is not too far from my house, and I took the picture and because I always loved that tree. I was leaning in on the path and everything, and a
yeah.
week later it was gone. They cut it off a week later, I think.
Oh gosh, something like that has happened to me time and time again. Back in, I think it was in 2000, I made a photograph in Death Valley of Badwater, it's the lowest spot in the continental US. It's below sea level, and it's kind of a magical place. And I made this photograph of these ponds, yeah, at Badwater and at sunrise, and that has been around for millennia. But a year with some months later, the National Park Service came in and put wooden decking around all the ponds. I couldn't make that photograph anymore. um, I photographed a house, a beautiful house and fence here in Santa Fe a number of years ago. And within a year after I made that photograph, the property was sold and they built a huge wall there, and the fence was gone. You couldn't see the house or anything anymore. So I sympathize with you on that, but it's a lovely looking image.
Thank you.
Whoops. Wow.
That's a defunct steel mill that's, well, I think 20 miles away or something. And I had
Wow.
a series of I had a series of these kinds of things there, because I've had to work factories at some point in my life, and I could remember this feeling of this place and not wanting to go there in the morning, and couldn't get out there soon
Okay.
enough. And it's just kind of it's kind of beautiful, but it still reminds me of times that were not that beautiful, really.
Well, that's very good. I mean, even Edward Weston made photographs of industrial sites and so on. I did a workshop for Jobo in Germany a couple of years ago, not too far from Cologne, and we spent a day up at an old iron mill, iron mine north of there, and all the technology and stuff there. It was quite wonderful. So good for you.
Nicely composed.
Yeah, some
Holger?
lovely moods here.
Hey, Alan, can you go back to that real quickly?
Yeah.
Holger, I love these images, these last two. Could
Thank
you just, since you're on the computer, will you please clone out the brights on the bar beam across the top there?
Out there?
Yeah, those two. I just get
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. See, that's the kind of thing I looked at it so many times. It's the first time I ever see these two spots.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, yeah.
Totally missed this.
Uh,
I love
Thank
it.
let's see here. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, that's once again one of the advantages of digital.
Yeah.
You can play around with stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that as one option, but another option could be
Yeah.
just bringing that down and forget all that sky there. And now it's all about the pipes and the metalwork. So lots of different things to do, but yeah, very good. But this one had a lovely mood.
This is actually 9 in the morning when the sun is coming up. It looks totally different when you see the original, but it's, for some reason I didn't want that, because there was nothing to it in the morning, and I played around. This was some of the one of these occasions where you play around with stuff, you don't even know where you're going, and at some point you find something that works. So I didn't visualize it like this when I went out,
Okay.
but I really liked it this way, because it's actually, it's blue sky, and it's morning. It's a little bit misty,
Yeah,
but it wasn't at night, and not at all.
I think this is a beautiful interpretation of a scene, visualization.
Yeah.
And even if this is after the fact, you still wound up feeling it.
Yeah.
And I think this is wonderful. And you know, and I actually like the little hotspot up here of that electrical box or whatever it is.
It is, yeah.
It's a kind of a little key, but it doesn't keep my eye from getting sucked down into the distance here. And the light on the ground here is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the morning sun coming up. I really
Very,
like it.
very good. And this looks like Greece.
Yeah, this is Santorini.
Okay. Never been, but it's
Oh, it's really nice, and everybody knows these pictures of Oya, which is the town next to. This is Fira, I think, the main town.
okay.
Everybody knows these other things with the blue domes on the churches and stuff. the
Yeah.
white building. What I like about this is the same. This church is also there. It's timeless. It's totally timeless. This is
Yeah.
2013, I think,
Okay.
but it still looks like it could be 1800 something. I don't know.
Yeah. This one here,
That's cool.
the power box kind of takes a little
Yeah, that
something
kind of
away
gives it
from
away.
it, but
But you don't look too closely. You can still get away with that.
yeah. But, that's another thing. We're doing a workshop to Greece this November, which it's not
Lovely.
quite full, but then the Peloponnesian Peninsula and going some wonderful old places. So wow, let me make that Photoshop a little bit smaller.
That's a building on Naxos. I was working as a guide for one season on the Greek islands in the Mediterranean. So we were island hopping all the time, and this is the Naxos.
Well, these are very, very nicely seen. I'm really, really impressed. There's one thing that's catching my eye in this, and that's the edge of the door here. And I'm just looking at what would happen if we just
Move that in a
didn't
little
have
bit.
that grabbing my eye. Now I'm really more in here. There's just that little bit of door frame that was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
catching me.
Makes a difference. I agree.
And this is something that Ansel Adams would do, looking at prints. And for those of you that don't know, you know, Ansel was very open. He always kept himself listed in the phone book in Carmel at his house. And, you know, we tried to race to get the phone before he did, because otherwise he might be sitting there chatting to somebody about some technical question for quite a while. So we tried to get the phone first, but you know, we'd get a call about somebody that came to town. Would you look at some photographs? Sure, come on out at 5 o'clock, have a cocktail, and you know, let's look at photographs. Or would you sign my book? Sure, come on out, and so on. He was very, very, very open that way. But what Ansel would do, here's this, is he would come over and he would take his thumb and put it over that edge of the doorway there and say, isn't that little bit neater there to be, you know, get rid of that distraction? He was very edge conscious. So just doing that, it's not grabbing my eye. It's no more than the window up here or the stuff over here. I'm really bringing it in here. But with that there, it's still grabbing me. But beautiful photograph. Your compositions are lovely.
Thank you.
Again,
Nice moment.
very nicely seen.
It's the Netherlands again, and it's morning. We went out with the dog on the beach, and fog rolling in. Fog is like, you can't go wrong.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. Then I lived in Carmel working for Ansel. And so I'm very accustomed to fog, and it is magical.
Yeah.
What camera are you working with?
Right now, I have the main camera as a Nikon D700.
Okay, but what camera are you using these for? Are you
This I actually think this is an iPhone.
well,
and
that's great. I'm just
I
interested.
came back the next day because, of course, the fog wasn't there anymore. But sometimes the iPhone works so well. I've had that with another shot in Spain somewhere, and I tried to. I walked up a hill or something, and there was a lonely pine tree there. Took the picture first with the iPhone to share it on social media later and stuff.
Yep.
And then I pulled out the bigger camera and tried that, and nothing worked as good as the iPhone.
Well, I was just curious because of the you know the number of square images. I was wondering whether it was Hasselblad or something like that.
No. That is something I'm looking into. That's why I now have the idea to. One of the reasons I want to go to film that I like 6x6, this whole square format, but there's nothing. I think Nikon only has the 850 or something that can do that.
Yeah.
One that square image.
Well,
And that's
you
why
can
I
always
was thinking of a Bronica or something to get that and do square
Yeah,
images. I
whatever.
like it. I really like it.
Yeah, well, you're doing very well. And yes, I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is pretty darned amazing.
Yeah.
I had my Canon, big Canon camera, EOS M6, modified to infrared. So right now my iPhone is my only other digital camera.
Okay.
I have to say that it's pretty amazing what it'll do. So I just have to say, you know, bravo to you for a lot of the images. Your compositions are very lovely, and
Thank
the tonal quality. So I'm really pleased that you sent these. Very nice. I have
Yeah, lovely.
just a lot of wonderful feelings about looking at these. So
Very good.
thanks very much.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.